Welcome back to the 76 Capital Sports Leadership Show. My name is Wayne Kimmel, managing partner of 76 Capital, the sports venture capital company. My guest today is the legendary sportscaster, Brent Musburger. You all know Brent from CBS Sports, the NFL Today, ABC and ESPN, and now the play-by-play radio voice for the Las Vegas Raiders, and one of the founders of our 76 Capital portfolio company, VSiN, the sports betting network that was recently sold to DraftKings. Brent, welcome to the 76 Capital Leadership Show.
Hi, Wayne. How you doing, lad?
Doing great. Great to see you.
It's great. It's great. And, what we've been through, as you know, with VSiN, the explosion of betting on sports across America. I think we've got, 30 states where it's legal, and we'll add a few more next year. So it's been great being along for the ride and watching the growth of something that should have been legalized decades ago, in my opinion.
Well, there's no doubt about that. Share with us where you are sitting right now.
I'm sitting in the lovely VSiN Studio at the Circa Casino in downtown Las Vegas. It is the grandest sports book in all of Nevada. 3 stories high. My wife and I were just out there enjoying a little European soccer that's on the screen in mid-afternoon. The Raiders were playing a game on Monday night, so I had a chance actually to come down here on a Sunday and see the activity and all the fun that everybody has during a regular Sunday in the NFL season. It was great. It was great to behold. Wayne, I love this casino and what Derek Stevens has done for downtown Las Vegas. Well,
you and Brent Musburger, your nephew, and Bill Adie, and the whole team. I just saw Brian Rogers there. You guys have done some amazing things in building VSiN into the sports betting network. What are some of your favorite memories so far?
My favorite is when my nephew Brian talked me to walk away from $1 million contract and take a shot at this. You know what I mean? He said, "Unc, we got to have you." And so I said, "Okay, let's do it." I always liked Las Vegas, lived here once upon a time, way back in the day, live here now, obviously. And so let's take a shot. And that was even before the Supreme Court had ruled that it would be okay for the state of New Jersey to go ahead and legalize sports gambling. So that first weekend, when we had a Super Bowl and we went on the air for the first time, the memories, of course, I'll never forget, 5 years ago. And then the growth that we've experienced, especially after the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the state of New Jersey, made it legal, and other states have jumped on board. And also, Wayne, as I travel around the country with the Raiders doing games, there's always at least one, and sometimes a lot more, individuals will come up and say, "Oh, man, we love VSiN. We love the programming. It's so much better than that regular talk sports radio that we listen to. We love what you guys do on VSiN." So that has been very, very satisfying. Then to see the talent that we brought in, it was an all-male broadcast group when we first started. Now, of course, we have several women who have become very prominent in sports betting. That's the way it should be. We've got ex-players, ex-Major League Baseball players. And so I think just seeing the overall growth of this, and then out of the blue, of course, along comes DraftKings, one of the big mega state bookmakers, and then they buy VSiN. So it's just great. It went by in such a hurry, and obviously it's going to continue to grow.
Well, you talked about DraftKings. Earlier you mentioned Derek Stevens, from Circa. You had other investors like Michael Gaughn who were involved from the South Point. We at 76, we're so happy to be partners with you. How did all these amazing groups, and I'll throw ourselves in there, of course, help you really build VSiN over this time?
Well, I have to tell you, Wayne, without Michael Gaughn and the South Point Casino, I'm not sure we would have gotten off the ground. But Brian, my nephew, came to me and said, "Unc, I'm going to talk to the casino operators out in Las Vegas and see if they would be open to us having a studio alongside the sports book." And I told him, when you deal with big corporations, it has to go through certain level after level after level. But I said, I do know one operator who is a huge, huge fan of betting on sports. I said his father was one of the founders, actually, of Las Vegas. He started the El Cortez Casino in downtown Las Vegas and went to Michael Gaughn. And lo and behold, Michael, along with Jimmy Vaccaro, Chris Andrews, Vinny Maiulo, and all the bookmakers who said it would be a great idea, lo and behold, he builds a lavish studio right there alongside the sports book. And that was really the first big step that VSiN was able to take. And we owe a lot to Michael Gaughn because of it. And then I'll never forget when we met Derek Stevens. He owned the D and the Golden Gate in downtown, and he had the Lawn Bar, and he was just such great company. He happened to live in the same condo complex as my wife and I did up at Queensridge. And he was just a huge, huge sports bettor. And that first year that we did March Madness, the first year of VSiN, Derek Stevens came in and bet $10,000 on the spot as soon as Chris Andrews posted the line on all the games in the first round of March Madness. I'll never forget it. He was all alone, $10,000 a game. Didn't hesitate. Knew what he was doing. The most money I'd ever seen in my life when he brought the bundles in and sat them on a table to South Point. So then Derek became an investor. And of course, he planned to build this elaborate Circa Casino on Fremont Street, which he's able to accomplish. He and his brother, both out of Michigan. And of course, Derek, being a former Wolverine, he's got that little bias going for Michigan. He's probably pulling, in fact, I know he's pulling for them to win the college football playoff. But that really, two grand steps in the city of Las Vegas, and at opposite ends. Really, they didn't compete against each other, with Michael Gaughn in the south end with South Point, and then here downtown at Fremont, Derek Stevens and Circa. So those were two huge, huge investors and helped VSiN get started.
Well, it's been amazing working with both of them, with you, the whole team at VSiN, and just so proud of all the things that you guys have been able to build. And now it's off to the races with DraftKings.
Yeah, Wayne, and listen, 76 Capital. Let's not forget the other investors who came on board, because we were, we didn't invent Tesla or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? The Musburger family wasn't printing money. We needed investors, and people like you from 76 Capital able to step up to the plate, keep it going. And now we've got DraftKings, and we've got a real solid amount of money behind us, and we can continue to grow, and I'm sure we will.
Well, exciting things are happening in Las Vegas. The Super Bowl is coming to Las Vegas. And you talked earlier about over 30 states that have now taken bets in this, in the regulated sports betting world. Did you believe this would have happened so fast?
No, Wayne, I have to tell you, I always thought it was going to happen. But no, I'd be lying if I said I thought it was going to happen this fast. I mean, you watch an NFL game and you'll see a DraftKings or a Caesars or somebody else advertising up there. And the same is true of the National Hockey League, the NBA. They've all got casinos. They all bought into it. The one thing I have to say is shame on all of them for being hypocritical about it for so long, because it has always been a vital part of sports in America. People love to bet, whether it's at $20 or $20,000. It doesn't make any difference. People just like to have a chance at a win and say, hey, how smart am I? I knew who was going to win that football game, when you and I know, might as well flip the coin in most instances, okay? Especially with point spreads being what they are. So it is remarkable to see how fast. And then to get up and see the Review Journal headline a couple days ago that the Super Bowl is coming up. Let's think about how far we've come here, that the Super Bowl is going to be played at Allegiant Stadium, okay? That's 3 Super Bowls from now. This next one, of course, is SoFi in Los Angeles. Then the following year, they're going to go down to Arizona, play in Glendale. And then the next year, they're right here. They're right here. And this year, by the way, the Pro Bowl is coming to Las Vegas. And the week before the Super Bowl, and I've told everybody, those players are coming. Las Vegas, a lot of guys, I got a few aches and pains. Oh, thanks for voting me to the club, but I think I'll pass. They're coming this year. We're going to have more stars for this Pro Bowl, and it's all because of the city of Las Vegas. I was watching the Golden Knights the other night, and I was thinking how much they have meant to the city. And my good friend Tom Foley, bringing the National Hockey League and the National Hockey League approving of it. And what a great job. What a great job the Golden Knights have done in this city, okay? Marching all the way to the Stanley Cup final in that first year. And they stamped Las Vegas as a major sporting destination. Then Mark Davis was able to get approval from the National Football League to bring the Raiders in here. He and his henchmen, led by Mark Bedane, did a fantastic job in building Allegiant Stadium. It's one of the best stadiums in the world, and it will be just a great home for the Super Bowl. And I dare say, the NCAA, they'll bring a Final Four into Allegiant Stadium too. That's going to be the next huge sporting event that will be announced. It's just one thing after another. This is a major destination for any kind of sporting act. MLS, soccer. We're a huge Latin community. Wonderful Latins live here in Las Vegas. And you imagine you bring up the Mexican national team maybe every year to play the U.S. national team in Allegiant Stadium. You kidding me? There won't be enough tickets to put the people in there. So Las Vegas, I love what's happened, and I'm happy for everybody at VSiN to be a part of it.
Well, you mentioned the Pro Bowl. The day before is the NHL All-Star Game.
Yes.
At T-Mobile, right? So it's unbelievable. That weekend is going to be incredible in Las Vegas.
Oh, absolutely. Great tickets. And think of the entertainers who are going to be here. They profit off of this too, because people don't come for just one day and see the game and rush out. They make it, hey, for example, the Denver Broncos are playing in here the day after Christmas. Can you imagine how many Christmas gifts are going to be? Airfare, hotel room, tickets. Let's go see the Broncos against the Raiders. The one thing that the Raider fans, the old school Raider fans from the city of Oakland and Los Angeles are having a hard time dealing with is that every time they go to Allegiant, half the fans are from the visiting city, but that's what it's going to be, because people love to come to Las Vegas to watch their team play. Bear fans, Eagle fans, you name it. Cincinnati, I've never seen. Listen, there were more Cincinnati Bengal fans in Las Vegas than the last time I went to Cincinnati to see the Bengals play, if you know what I mean, Wayne.
I got to see it firsthand when the Eagles played there. It was unreal. It was unbelievable to see it. So a couple of years ago, back in November of 2019, I had the opportunity to sit down and interview David Stern at one of our 76 Capital conferences. And I asked him the question about what was his most impactful moment of being in sports and being the commissioner of the NBA. And he said to me, meeting Nelson Mandela when he was in South Africa with the NBA on one of their trips down there. Have you had a moment like that in your career, all the different things that you've done? Is there one kind of moment that was...
Have I ever? His name was Muhammad Ali. And of course he was huge, okay? And Cassius Clay changed his name. He had become a Muslim. And I was working for a newspaper, Chicago's American. And the radio station had me as a guest and working with their talk show host who wanted to go do play-by-play and was getting ready to go down to the Miami Dolphins to do the radio. So I knew the station was looking for talent. And they said, is there somebody in town you could go interview? Here's the old school recorder, tape recorder you'd carry with you. And of course, I had met him as a newspaper man, and I knew some contacts in the Ali camp. So I thought, that's my target. So I walked down, parked. I wasn't quite sure where his home was. It's outside of Chicago. And I remember walking down all along with the recorder and knocking on the door. And of course, there were a couple of bodyguards there that opened the door, let me in, and went around the corner. It was an unassuming house, very unassuming. Sat down on the couch, and Champ came in. He acted like he'd known me for decades. He was so gracious. I think I asked him one question, and I think he went on for 20 minutes to answer it. Well, that was all it took for the radio station to hire me, okay? And I was, ever since then, and I was in love with the late Champ. I would see him. It was so sad when he lost the ability to talk because of the injuries and everything he had gone through. We would hug each other, but he couldn't say my name. It kind of brought tears to my eyes in the latter stages of his career. But there was no athlete that I've ever been around who had the ability to light up a room and to engage everybody. Lincoln Kennedy is my analyst, okay? And huge all-pro tackle formerly for the old Oakland Raiders, okay? And Lincoln, he's the size of a living room, okay? When he walks in, he's huge. Well, one day, Muhammad Ali was getting ready to fight, and he was up in the Seattle area, and Lincoln was a student at the University of Washington. And they got the students to act as the chauffeurs and the bodyguards and to help the champs camp around town. So he was so looking forward, Lincoln was, to meeting Muhammad Ali. Walked in the living room, and Ali jumped up and went, "Okay, George, okay, George." And I said to Lincoln, that was Muhammad Ali. Okay, everybody he met, that was his friend. Okay, when he saw Lincoln come through the hall, Muhammad Ali was one of the all-time greats.
That's an amazing story. I know we have to wrap. One last quick question.
Sure.
You know, one of the things that we do at 76 Capital, we're involved with a lot of young and up-and-coming broadcasters, want to be sportscasters, want to be like you. Is there one secret tip that you can give to someone about what they could do to be successful in the world of being a sportscaster?
Be as lucky as I was. And that's the truth. There is, when I started, it wasn't nearly as big an industry as it is now. I mean, it was only one college football game on the weekends, and now every college football game seemingly on a weekend. But I went to the Medill School of Journalism in Northwestern, and the one piece of advice I do give, I said, take writing courses, okay? Not just talking into the microphone, but learn how to write effective sentences and to deal with it. I said, it will serve you very well as a broadcaster. I would do that even if you want to become a news broadcaster. I would say, Walter Cronkite was a great UPI reporter in the Second World War. That's how he learned. Walter, when I was around Walter at CBS back in the day, the one thing that Walter insisted upon, every obituary that CBS News ran, he wrote. That's the one thing he insisted, that he would write the obituary about the famous people who passed away when he was the anchor. I've never forgotten that about. So learning how to write and to deal with sentences will serve every broadcaster well, including sportscasters. And all they have to do is go listen to one piece of tape of one Vince Scully, and they will find out just how important the English language is to a sports broadcaster.
Well, that's amazing. Thank you so much. It means so much to me to have you on our show. And Brent, best of luck with everything. Have the best time out there in Las Vegas, and I hope to see you soon.
Thanks, Wayne, and thanks again to everybody at 76 Capital.